Okay, well, welcome everyone. I'm glad we could have this session, and it may be of value to other people in other clubs, possibly. So I'm going to start off with the Laura having sent a story and some photos to use as a model. I'm going to share screen about that story first of all before posting it. So my ongoing preaching to the choir is that here's the story as is, and so the what and the why part is just down here, a bit buried. This is a typical story. People say Rotarians in this club did this, this, and this, and then they produced this result. But I'm always saying you should start with the result and what was achieved, and then go into then in this way go into who did it, i.e. the Rotarians, and how they went about doing it, because that hook at the beginning is what will draw people, whether they're members or people from outside the Rotary.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the model there.
Yeah.
And so that every year X number of tons of food goes into the Vancouver landfill. Well, I don't have that figure, but a little bit of research, maybe one of your partner organizations might have that. So just to make that point, so then I'm going through this quickly as an example, and then we'll come back and post this. So then looking at a photo, and I just found this on Google Images, but some photo that represents, handing food over to a family in need and that sort of thing. Those, again, the what. So that would be on the home page as a thumbnail with the first paragraph of that story. And then you've got these other photographs or images that go with the story in the body of the story. And then I just sort of put that in as, I use Google Images all the time. Do note that this is a Getty's Images licensed picture, so you'd have to try and find one that was license free, etc.
We do have that image of the church when I handed across to Crossroads Church, Laura, right?
Yeah, these were just quick sample images because we need something fast for our purposes today. This isn't what I would, what I would put on social and what I would put on a web page would be different.
Okay, and you've got that image
in many respects.
That short video of, you can also embed video on this as well, right?
Yeah, but let's walk before we run, Blake.
Perfect. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure.
Anyway, at a quick glance, to go with that first paragraph, that this is visually, this is about food, helping out families in need, etc., whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the video, so all these are preparation before you post. I use YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel, and you can see some of the district stuff that has been posted. So upload the video here, which I did.
So Peter, let me just clarify. This is not going on a ClubRunner library. What you're doing is linking your YouTube. You've got your own YouTube video library, and you're linking that.
Yeah, it could be Vimeo, could be YouTube, but upload it to something that will support. Then link. Then I'll just show you how you can then do an embed code or a link to it.
Yep.
So the second, when you've done that, as it's doing, whatever the name of the video is, and some description in here, whatever you feel is appropriate. And it's not so critical because you're not using it, the YouTube channel itself, as a communication tool. You're just using it as support, so it doesn't have to be, sophisticated. And then this button here, public, you press that, you'll see that's a thumbnail image of what the video would be about.
Good.
And then press, publish. And then you end up, first of all, with this. This is the video link and you want to copy that, which I copied over on the side to keep it for when we go on to the website. And then you here's a list of other videos, but here you want to push this button once this is published to view it on YouTube. And when you do, now this was processing when I did it, so
Right.
you'd see that little thumbnail of the lady you talked to. I think it was at Surflight. So then you'd push this share button down here, and when you do that,
you get the link.
then you get, well, there's the link again, but then you get the embed code here, and finally, what you'd see is this embed code.
Gotcha.
And you copy that and also park that somewhere along with the link. So that completes that process. Again, there's no point going into too much detail about that, but you can review this afterwards. But so with that having been done, that prep work, also using your photos, checking out the resolution. You'd want to reduce the resolution of your photos down so you're not, you can put high resolution photos in the website ClubRunner, but you're using up space that isn't necessary for a website. So just enough to make them clear and crisp, but not sort of 3 megabytes. If you can reduce them down to say 500 kilobytes, that should be sufficient for most cases on the website.
And for those of us that are new to that, how does one go about doing that, reducing resolution on a photo?
Yeah, there are different methods. One thing I use, if you've got Windows, is you click on the photo and say open with, and then let me see if I can do that. I have to get out.
Many of the rest of us are Mac.
Oh,
Windows, Laura, or Mac?
Pardon me? I'm a Mac.
Or Mac, yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know whether there makes. You'll have to look up something. I could sort of afterwards maybe see if I can provide some alternatives. But
I usually get into a topic like that, I end up Googling it. It's why some of the posts never get done in a day, because then you're wandering off down to how do I do this technically, trying to teach yourself.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, but I can look something like that up and see how it goes.
I've also has a program for AVs for you. I've had for many years, and you can take a bunch of photos and reduce them down to, a certain width or, and, pixel size and all that kind of thing. So there are various ways to do it. So then just open up here. So you've got your photos. So you want to upload your photos now to, so you go into images. Let's go back a bit.
And Laura, do you have a separate PR folder under ClubRunner? I know we've got a general one, but stuff tends to get buried deep down in that because quite a bit of stuff goes in there.
No, I don't keep stuff on ClubRunner for PR. We have, our record is our website, our record is our Facebook page, our record is our Instagram.
No, but on the website, which is under ClubRunner, like when I go to add images that I'm putting in the emails, I've got to put them in the one image file. And then if I have to go back and get it, it gets a little bit buried because Marianne, there's other images going in there, right? So Peter, would you recommend for PR to have, if they are uploading or changing and adding these stories to the website, they should have their own image file or just use the general image file?
Well, if you had, say, 2 or 3, maybe 4 photos, image library, if you've got them labeled, captioned well, you can see them. The most recent ones will be here using the image library. You'd upload to here. But if you had a collection of photos, then you'd open up the photo album library, and then you do add. And then you'd give it a title and a description, and then you'd put your name in and the date and that sort of thing. You'd save it, and then you go to, the next command would take you to upload. You might have 10 photos on a given story. But in this case, we just have a few images. So either here, image library here, or here.
Yep.
So you open that up, and so it seems like you're familiar with this process. So it'll take a moment to.
Yeah, it does, just to refresh the image thumbnails.
And this is
that isn't anything that I've used, and I don't believe Yvonne has either. Yvonne got some of our archived photos onto Google, and there's some photo albums there.
If you're sending any images under ClubRunner email, you're using that image library, right?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I've been doing. That's the only way I've been able to get images out.
All right. So I press on upload in the image library, and then I have to go and sort. That and ClubRunner demo. So I've got. I'll upload these photos.
So Marianne, if we don't have access to like that photo album library, are you able to give like Laura access to that? If she needs,
I think it's on ClubRunner. If she doesn't have access to it, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
Well, let me check first, Marianne, before we send you on a goose chase. It's not even something I knew existed. So
That's loading up.
Yeah.
These are already small size files.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to go over homepage content, homepage stories, and create new story.
Okay, so this is where we're creating a new web page story.
Homepage story, yeah. Okay. So then I want to go to.
Have you been into this before, Marianne or Laura? Have you been into this before?
Yeah, I've been in. I usually drag and drop the image into the story. From my
there are other ways to do it. And other than the thumbnail on the home page, going with the homepage story, you can, when you're in the middle of a story, you can actually load in a picture from there as well. So I'm gonna take this text here, and I'm going to put it into.
You're just copying and pasting this at the moment, are you, Peter?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your story brief, the why?
Yeah. So you could copy it in here. And then you want to move this down to the second page. And I don't know if you have a particular font you use on your website. I typically use Trebuchet on our site and on the district site.
Okay.
So, and all right, so you've got, and then we need a title in here.
Delta Food Runners.
So something that would make sense to somebody coming to a cold, and food support for families. I don't know, something like that. And then you'd put your name in there. I usually leave my name off, and then you could put today's date, and then you put the key photo in there. It's always a busy time of day for. So we got that key photo in the first paragraph.
So, Peter, how did you do that again?
Okay. For this is the homepage photo.
Right.
So I can delete that and put another one when, but you push edit,
Okay.
and that'll take you over to my images.
Yeah.
Okay. To
And
the
then-
library or
Well, your my images.
your
but-
my images. Okay.
But if you had a collection of photos, let's say 10 photos in a photo album rather than just a few in my images,
Right.
then you open this up and go find the folder you set up. And
Okay.
it might be under, let's say, food for families. You might have named it that. So you'd look down here under F, and that would, but we don't have that there. But anyway, that's where you'd find it.
Okay.
But
Edit and then into my photo, my
yeah,
library or my
Well-
photos. Right. Okay.
but right now we're just using 4 in the my images.
Okay.
So anyway, so you got the photo there, and now you want to, and we'll come to the video in a moment. So what a handy thing to do is you use a table, and you, let's say, let me see, we've got how many? 2, let's say 2 rows and 2 columns. And so this is a critical thing about the width. You got to be thinking about that people looking at this on their mobiles, and if you do it too wide, they're gonna have to turn their mobile sideways, and even that might. So
Yeah.
100% be right across the page. So the maximum you might want to go is, let's say 600, and let's say you've got 2 sponsors.
How was your scale? What was the scale when you chose 600?
Well, it's 600 pixels. It's 100%, which would be like 9 or 100 or more. So 600 is pushing it a bit, but
60%.
sorry.
600 is like 60%.
No, not necessarily. I could translate that. I never.
So that was just the number of pixels then, 600 pixels. So small.
600 pixels rather than percent. It starts out defaults to a percentage, but I picked 600 pixels, and so we'll do 300 for that. So that's half of the 600 width. And second sponsor, these you'd have to play around with it. I was trying to look for a more square version of the Earthwise logo, but I couldn't find one.
So the reason you put in a table is because you're putting your images in the table. Is that why?
Yeah, you could put them in loosely, but then if you just had a single one, but if you wanted to group them together, then it keeps everything sort of, what should we say, in order. So this doesn't quite work out right. And then you say, okay, I want that to be, sorry. What's the height of that one is 83. So I want that one to be the same height so they look equal. And
Yeah, and then it automatically.
you'd have to play around with the
Yep.
formatting. And then you say, okay, let's I know there's a lot of detail, but I'm going to merge these first two cells in the top and
Yeah.
put the other photo in on across the whole width. And then we'll put the video in.
Yeah, because without the table, you don't have anything to anchor to, and you don't have the ability to drag it and drop it somewhere on the screen.
Yeah, again,
Yeah.
if you're grouping.
Yeah.
So this isn't going to be the greatest layout. Okay. So
It's a bit pixelated
again,
too.
you'd have to fool around with some of this to make it all sort of neat and tidy.
Peter, what was the
so-
size of that photo of Vivian that you had originally? Because it's looking pixelated now. I mean, was that a 500 KB or was that a little less?
That was a low resolution photo to start
Okay.
with.
Problem.
Yeah. So we've got a kind of, and then you want the text, maybe the table properties. So if you, when this says down here, a line is not set, the text will be above or below the
Right.
table. But if you want it to wrap around, then you say left, and then the text will fit in beside that.
Yeah.
These links need to be added in. Okay, let's pretend this link is complete. You say, okay, I want to put that in as a link. So this will go in as a URL, but you have a choice. You could take a link to a document you've posted in ClubRunner, custom page you've got set up, download file, email, and you put the person's email address if that's what you're doing. But in this case, we're putting in a URL.
Peter, why wouldn't you just have the Vancouver Food Runner direct URL? Why have you got all of the going through the apps and the Apple and the rest of that? Like it's VancouverFoodRunners.com.
I just took out of what Laura sent. So whatever the appropriate link is, you'd have. There's another thing too. You can use a long URL, or you could go in and just say Vancouver Food Runners app, and then you do the link and you put it in there. So, and then you don't have this long
Yeah,
URL.
that's better. That's cleaner.
That's what I would normally do. Is I would create that hyperlink.
Yeah.
So,
use, that, and I've used ClubRunner for that before. I mean, it's good with the link service in there.
yeah.
So that's much better rather than having the numbers in that. So again, that was just putting Vancouver Food Runners in as the link for the URL, and then it does the back end stuff.
Yeah, whatever appropriate word, so you can say get away from URLs themselves, and then when it's published and you come in from the outside, if you moused over this, you'd see the URL down the bottom left of your screen. Now we want to put the video in. Do you want to put it above or below what we have? Again, this is to work on that screen. You can increase or decrease up here the screen. So to be able to work on this, let's put the video down below.
Yeah.
For now. And So over here, I've got, this is the, that's the embed code that I saved from earlier. Feel like it's a cooking show. So embed media,
Yeah.
paste the code in there. And there you've got the video.
Oh, that's good.
So, yeah. Oh, so it's pretty straightforward once you've got that. I meant to show when you're in the let's say let's say you thought of a photo you wanted to add to this, and just let me add a row here. Let's say you wanted to add a photo. So up here beside the image, get the image with this little plus sign.
Yeah.
So you can click on that and maybe take something out of, I'll just take this photo from earlier. You'll open that and see then it'll add itself to my images, but automatically bring it into your right into your screen here. Okay, I just want to reduce this down to 300. Anyway, so it's a jumble, but we have to play around with these things to make them work.
So Peter, how close is this to page view? Like, are you doing all your editing here? Can you post something, have a look at it, come back, rearrange? I mean, how
Sure.
Yeah.
So
is this fairly close to what you would see when you actually post it?
But you want to
Well,
see
more.
This is quite a
more or
different
less.
layout.
So let's say you went, you could go save.
Okay.
So I want to save your work, but you don't want it to show up on the website yet.
Right.
So you display on homepage stories and all this, take it, untick these things, and then confirm. So now your story is in the story library.
All right.
Okay, so there's the story.
Yep.
And
Preview.
you could preview. Now the preview isn't, maybe it's because I didn't, I guess I hadn't published it yet, if you like. But we can then go in and edit it again here. So you can put it aside and come back to it. But let's go and publish it.
Laura's point is you want to sort of get a sense of how it's coming together. So what you have to publish it, but then not display it on the homepage, and then you should be able to see it in preview.
Yeah, if you publish it and don't show it on the homepage. But
Can we do that?
Sometimes I just go in. I mean, it's not like we're sort of a giant corporation or anything, and everything's got to be exact. I just sometimes go in and publish the story, have a look at it, and go back and fix it.
Yep.
So rather than sort of be too secretive about it. So now to make this, and let's say you're happy with it, I want to bring it in the stories widget. And then once you come in here and then add stories from the story library.
What stories widget?
Well, that's what publishes things on the homepage.
I got you. Okay, so the library is just the draft. Now you got to bring it into the widget library in order to publish it.
Let's say you had about 5 stories you wanted to publish and keep them sort of in a bank and ready to publish, when you wanted to publish them, they're all ready to go. Well, you can put them in the stories library and then pull them into the homepage when you're ready.
Gotcha.
So I'm now going to select this story and add selected stories. So it now should appear on the home page. We'll go and have a look. I hope no one's looking at the district website right now. So here we go over to home. and it hasn't, it's got a process, so I'm gonna refresh in my,
Does it come in the latest news box? Is that where it ends up?
yeah, it'll end up right here when it, sometimes it takes, again, this lag.
It's got to run to India and back.
Yeah. Well, it should go to Toronto. There we go.
There we go.
So now, now you see the way this homepage is now being set up is changed in a while ago. So you can see a lot of this on your mobile. So it's narrower than the top, so to speak. So anyway,
Yeah.
then we go in, open it up, and this could be set up so it's not right up against the picture, etc. And there you can see the pictures. And then you've got your AV. So that spacing should be reduced. I over added the space. So
Audio.
who's that handsome celebrity there?
So what happened to the audio there, Peter?
It was playing, didn't you hear it?
No. Oh, I guess it's because you and Zoom, you've got to go video and share audio from video clip.
So you can't hear anything?
No, but that's the same thing we have in our meetings. You've got to.
Yeah, okay.
It's a Zoom issue. It's not a web issue, Peter.
Yeah. Just hang on. Where's the setting for that?
Yeah, no worries.
So Blake, you see
Anyway,
what I mean
it
by
does
my
work.
email about turning your camera for the videos?
What do you mean, Laura?
To go, you know how I asked if when you're doing videos, if you can get your camera turned to go portrait, or sorry, landscape instead of portrait?
Yeah.
That would be really helpful.
You know, the reason I did portrait is I had in the back of my mind Charbonneau always getting after me for portrait. But yeah, I know you're right. The landscape.
Yeah.
Photos and videos.
Well, just because it was the two of you,
Yeah.
and because I don't know of a way to edit the black bars on either side. That would be the type of video I would use for social media.
Yeah.
And I think I've learned today that because I couldn't figure out how to post that. And I think I've learned I'm going to have to set up some kind of an account where it can sit so that I'm able to export it into Facebook. I couldn't figure out how to get it from your email link onto social media. But typically our webpage stories will be something we will have some time to fashion and be able to spend some time on layout, choose a video that properly fills the screen, or choose a series of photos. I could even make a photo collage in advance, so I'm really only bringing in one completed photo into ClubRunner. And so I'd have one completed photo and text to work with instead of trying to make the collage within the ClubRunner app itself.
I can see why Peter does the prep ahead of time, because this thing, it's not really meant to be a workflow manager while you're trying stuff out. You're better to have it set up ahead of time, and then you plug it into the boxes, and then you go publish it, and hopefully you're not having to do too many iterations.
Yeah, because for us, website content will be the big stuff, not day to day. That's not what the record on the website is for. So,
but this makes sense. I mean, I can see. It provides what we need to do. Again, it's like the old word perfect, as long as you're, working with the way it needs you to work, and that's fine. So
Peter, if we didn't know you to walk us through this, where does one find the explanation about how to do any of this? Where does that live?
ClubRunner has a bunch of tutorial videos.
Okay.
You can go and check those out. Of course, that takes time.
Yes.
Well, plus the nice thing about this, Peter, is you've had it very focused, and that's very appreciated. You just right from the start of taking the story and showing the structure and the breakout, and then the way that these rails work. They need the title, they need kind of the intro paragraph, and then using a table to help format the pictures. seems to make some sense. How did you, when you said you could pull that space, that text, so it's not tied up against the frame of the picture? Where are you doing that?
Well, you can, let me see, go back and.
And I have a couple of other general questions for the
Sure.
three smart brains here as well.
Sure.
PR general.
Okay. So, families, gonna edit. So, okay, so you could, one way to do this is you make the table a little wider. So instead of 600, you could make it say 610.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you make, just make sure that this image is, it's so the bias, it's aligned to the left.
Yeah.
So when you publish, see, then there's a little space there. It should be enough to make it look decent. So I'm sorry, this is all higgledy-piggledy, but again, to find that and crop photos that'll all fit together nicely, it takes a bit of time sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we stop, save, and publish, and just to go back and check. Now, the correction might take now a bit of time to
Refresh. Yeah.
refresh. Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say, Laura, while this is happening?
So the kinds of things I wanted to ask about were more general about PR. So those tutorials on ClubRunner would be located under which dropdown? Which link would I be searching for that?
Well, you could go in and say help.
Okay.
Start there.
Okay. And with respect to, so I'm thinking ahead to that Healthcare Workers Week piece that we've been collaborating on, and,
Yes.
and Blake is going to send in the joint letter with Guillermo.
Did you get North Delta on board, or?
No, I haven't talked to North Delta about this. Is that something, Blake, that you and Guillermo are working on, getting North Delta involved?
We've talked about that in that email, but I don't know if Guillermo's done anything. I have not done
Okay.
anything.
I talked to Guillermo
So
yesterday.
to that point, though, that type of a upcoming event, we learned about it because
Chris offered.
you know, yeah, Chris had initiated that.
Sorry to interrupt. But then you can see now there's a bit of a space.
Yeah. It seems to take about 2 minutes for it to hit the server.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So I would like, ideally, to work with the club's directors, events, fundraisers, and so on, and kind of map out, you know, the Rotary year from a PR perspective, the kinds of, like I say, the big stories, the substantive stuff that would go on the website, including some of the Rotary International pieces and these kinds of pieces. Is there a PR game plan for district or Rotary International somehow already mapped out on a calendar about the different pieces through the Rotary year? Or is that something I have to?
There is actually something, they do have months for different causes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And you'll find that on
Monthly
the My
theme.
Rotary RI site.
Yeah.
So February is, I don't know.
So the various.
That's foundation, I think.
Maternal child health and environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have that.
But
Okay.
that's a sort of basic thing that's been around for a long time. But other than that, there's no programmed,
Okay.
current this year's stories that are, at least I'm not aware of one.
Okay.
Sounds like a good idea, but
Yeah,
They
just be
also have
nice
all
to
kinds of
intersperse that, Marianne, with some of the local stuff, right?
Yeah.
And show a more complete picture on our website of all of Rotary.
Yeah.
So
They have
yeah,
lots
I
of
was hoping
images
to
as well.
factor that in.
Yeah.
So that was one piece. So really, for me, for our website, differentiating between the social media piece and this, I think where I need to go do some learning is how to get if we are doing videos, and we hope to, some of that's going directly to Instagram, the smaller pieces. Some of it can go onto Facebook, but I need some way to export it. So, and then Peter, the templates for the fonts, the overlay you're doing on the graphics, that must be something that's coming through ClubRunner or Rotary.org. Where are you getting
I mean,
that?
like Together We End Polio.
Yes, yes.
Well, you can get, I can try and send them to you, but you can get them if you go in the brand center on Rotary International site.
Yeah.
And you can go find in the People of Action.
Yes, I've been in
section,
there. Mm-hmm.
And then you can go and find those overlays.
So they exist separately, or are you simply changing the photo that they have sent?
Just adding your photo in there. With that,
they're overlays, and any photo you have that's applicable. Let's say you're doing, for the sake of argument, doing something to support funds for polio, and you have a photo, some activity in Tawasin, and then you do put the overlay over that photo, so it's kind of transparent. It's gradient transparent.
Right. So I'm not looking for a blank template of the People of Action. I am simply using the existing template, and I'm going to find some way
Your own.
to delete the photo and insert a new one. Is that the process I'm looking to do?
No, it's just an overlay. So whatever you take a photo, it could be something on the RI site, it could be your own photo in Tawasin, and then, okay, this is what we want to focus on, and then you import and the overlay onto that photo.
Okay, I'll look for the blank template. I have looked for it. I haven't been successful in finding it, so I'll see if I can just get a blank one.
So
I did see it in Rotary Brand Center, Laura, where it is under People of Action, and you can swap your photo.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'll reach out. I'll try it again and reach out if I can't figure that one out, because that I could use a lot in social media as well.
Yeah. If you want to change the words in that, sometimes you can. I've got the font that is that, and the big word. It's kind of stylized.
Mm-hmm.
You can change the wording, but that takes a lot of fiddling. If you go beyond what the RI templates are.
Yeah.
So
I think it's mainly just personalizing it with our people, isn't it? Like the People of Action, all of that font and all of that is just great, and it stays consistent with the brand, but it just gets our people up and our activities up underneath it. It looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can. We have to pay attention to our photography style to be successful with that. We've got a lot of like really posed photographs, and if you're saying People of Action, everyone standing there isn't doing it. So we need people to ignore the camera and be doing things so that we can get that photo that shows the doing things. Stop posing.
Like garden frames, those cribs, for example.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm working with people on that, where I'm getting them, please ignore me and go about your business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Peter, can I just go back? Is there speaking of action, is there an action item for me on that letter? I know that, we talked about it and did the signing. Am I having to do anything, to send anything anywhere to anybody, or is that all now in the system? That's the letter for the
There is a draft and with your names on it, and I talked to Guillermo yesterday, and he said he hadn't talked to North Delta at all. So if he was doing that on your behalf, they could just. He said, oh, should we put our signatures in? I said, oh, it's not essential, but if we can add the president, I don't know who the president of North Delta is, but we could add their name, and that would go to the health authorities. And also the letter to the editor. It'd be good to have all three clubs, because then it can go to the North Delta Reporter rather than just the Delta Optimist. Newspaper.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, if I'm reading this correctly, there's no action item for me, but you would let me know if there is one.
I won't. I've handed it over to you and Guillermo to sort out with the president of the North Delta Club. If he's on board, we can send it in. Laura and I can send it in, but you guys have to agree that all three of you.
I would recommend sending the correspondence from the president that you wish to be the contact. so that Fraser Health isn't getting jammed up coming back through us. And then I would like to have a copy that I can attach when Peter and I finish the graphic that's going to accompany this. We'd like to be able to show a copy of the letter as published. So, but yeah, I think what I'm finding is too many handoffs are confusing our community partners as to who they actually talk to.
Okay, so the action item for me, I just want to make sure nothing gets dropped. The action item for me is talk to Guillermo and
Yeah.
decide who's talking to the North Delta president.
Yeah. Give them a clear line of communication on a cover note to say, here's how you would correspond with us.
In other words, yeah, if it's going to be
Add that clarity, because it is frustrating for groups.
okay. Okay.
Because all they'll get from myself or Peter is, well, we can't really help you, but we'll pass you on.
Sorry, you're talking about the club?
Yeah, like if Fraser Health was to give a response,
Yeah.
they don't want to have to waste time being told we're the wrong door, here's the right door.
But we can send it to the newspapers, which is okay.
Yes, happy
But
to do
for
that.
the health authority, yeah, it should come from one of you
Mhm.
as the contact.
Okay.
And then in our cover note, we would put, if you wish to contact, and then we would have Ladner Club, Peter, Tawasin Club, Laura, that kind of thing. So that they don't have to work so hard.
Good. Okay, well, I'll check with Guillermo, see if he's chasing down North Delta, and then that'll get back. Did he confirm with you, Peter, he was, or should I call him?
I guess maybe you should just
Okay.
touch base with them.
I'll
See
do.
if
I would
he's
ask him.
taking action. I mean, is
Good.
there anything else on ClubRunner that you want to check out while we're still here?
Well, if you're amenable to this, I may have to 911 you from time to time.
Oh, by all means. But
I'm
right
stuck,
now
but
on this
Mary Ann's a
call-
great resource as well, and it sounds
Yeah.
like it sounds like Blake has a pretty good handle on some of this. It's sure brand new territory for me. But my
Sure.
hope was to stop burdening Mary Ann with these quick rush. We got to get this done. I thought I should learn how to be more capable with this.
Yeah, the whole administration side of ClubRunner is valuable, and
Yes.
it's a different world in a
Yeah.
sense, or overlap. But the
Yeah.
communication thing, can be quite effective if it's
Yeah.
used well. And then the
Right.
drip every week, whenever the speaker or whatever, to post something or other, just so that somebody comes to your site and you've always got people see what your activities are or what your guest speakers are saying. And
Actually, that is my last big question. We survey people who attend our events and fundraisers about where they're finding out about things, and it's almost universally our social media. Where do you get metrics on the website? Because I don't think we're
We've done-
getting public checking us on a weekly basis, and so what we're doing is putting it on the place where the public comes.
there's Google Analytics built into ClubRunner.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm not sort of strong on, but you can go in there and find out all those statistics are there.
How many unique visitors in a month, that type of thing.
All
Mary
that-
Ann, have you been in that at all for our website? Do you know? It's a good question.
I've seen it. I've seen it for my business, but I haven't seen it for ClubRunner.
Peter, is
I haven't
that
looked for it either, though.
you're saying that is that underlays the website automatically? You just need to know where to access it?
Yeah, Google Analytics.
Yeah.
And you're using social media, which is great, and you obviously get leads out of that. But if it always somehow links back to your website, it brings people into your home, so to speak. That's a good thing when it's feasible.
That's why I find the analytics so helpful. So for example, let's say our flag fundraiser, our joint fundraiser, we're running ticket sales off the website. So wouldn't it be nice, so I embed what's on our website in the social media so that people are clicking the link and going right through the ticket sales page, right? You want to do it that way so that you're getting that traffic to
Yeah.
the website. But
Or unless you want to go to a story that's posted, which then takes you to the ticket sales to give you more information. Depends on the situation.
Yeah. So if with analytics, we would start being able to follow where are people finding out about us, where to put the emphasis. And it's considerably more work to deal with the website than it is to deal with social media. And if it's not the place that's driving our sales or attendance or participation, then that would change where we put the effort, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But, rather than say either or, it's really both. I've just been looking at some club websites in the district, and they're just like, the last post was about 3 years ago or more. And you think it's self-defeating, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. Might as well not have a website if you're not going to keep it up. So meanwhile, your Facebook or your social media might be effective for marketing and doing all those things, which is great. But your website should always be kept up, because people will find you that way. And if you're out of date, you're out of luck. Anyway.
Yeah. To me, it's that representation. I like to be able to say to new members, if you want to know more about our club, check our website, because that's where I expect to see the major initiatives.
Yeah.
And the major pieces about Rotary. And so I think it should be, whereas here's some people putting some shovels in the ground, helping build a garden, is not necessarily website worthy, but it's definitely social media worthy. You can go there. So yeah, we want it to be current, and we want it to be interesting, but it's just a different tool and has different purpose. So sure. I hope to become more proficient at this, but I think it'll be a learning curve.
So I think, as I say, I think some clubs are saying, oh, well, let's just use it to social media. Well, you got to do it all.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping to.
Yeah.
Just so Peter, not overly burden Marianne all the time.
Sure.
To finish off this question about the statistics on our home site, I'm in here right now under the admin area, and I have looked before, and I've never seen it, but I realize there's a hell of a lot of different areas in here. I just don't see any of those Google Analytics popping out at me where that might be. Do you?
Yeah, okay. I don't know. See, I've got full access, administration access to the district website.
Oh, I was just in here. Okay, good. So let's see.
You can email ClubRunner, and they'll get back to you and tell you how to do it.
Yeah. So I'm just checking out here. So there's, see here, Google Analytics.
Huh. That was under admin. Let me just see if I have got that. I may not have that. That's why. Admin Classic.
But I think, yeah, you should for your own, if you're on your own site, here's the one for the district.
Yeah. So, there's Google Analytics down there under administrator, but it's grayed out, I think.
Sorry, I have to go back and.
Yeah, I think it's grayed out for me. Maybe Marianne, you have that. I've got it now that I'm under admin classic.
Well, maybe that's a takeaway we can work on post meeting. Peter, you had to go to something at 4:30, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got to prepare for a district meeting coming up and chairing.
So Marianne, maybe see if you've got that, and at least one of us would be interesting. We don't all, well, Laura, it'd be interesting for you to see if it's going up or down as well.
Well, historically, I would think I'd like to see what happened, if we could look historically at flag sales, for instance, was that working in any way, or was it simply the email reach out and the personal sales that were working? We need to give feedback as to what's effective to our events, our fundraisers, PR. And if we can track some of that, we'll be a little more purposeful in what we're doing. I could
certainly afford to learn from you and on all that stuff, and how best to analyze it and track it. And so,
well, the social media, the guys have been doing a good job getting regular posts on that. It's been good. So I think we're doing that well, and I think we just can keep this.
When I started on PR, gosh, about 8-9 years ago, we had 40 people on Facebook. So
how many now?
Let's see. There's, and then of course now we do a lot of boosting for organic reach, above and beyond the organic reach that we would get. Let's see. So how many people like our page now? Goodness, edit page, view as, it's not even telling me. Invite your friends, see all. I will find that. Let's see.
Okay, well,
I'm
And-
looking everywhere.
It's a
It's
lot
not the
better.
same place you would find it on a personal page. I have to go into the business end of it, Blake, and look at the metrics, and
Yeah.
I can get the monthly metrics, which of course is fun to track when we're trying to boost something. So yeah, it's going to be in the business side of it because it's a business page that we're running.
Okay, and then last question,
So-
Mary.
Anyway, it was getting north of 800 some odd, so we were
Yeah,
able to increase it
so
significantly.
I'm gonna stop the
Order of
recording.
magnitude.
I'm gonna stop the recording